pledge of allegiance to Aldermen Locke. Y'all please stand.
Please bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you so much for our city and the people in it. And please help us to make the best decisions for the overall good of our city. Thank you so much for this day and thank you for giving us grace. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
We're on the place for American flag and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Gary. Alderman Buckland. Alderman Martin here. Alderman Chapman.
Present.
Alderman Williams here. Alderman Howard. Alderman Locke here. Attorney Will Purdy. Present. Presiding Mayor Phil Fisher.
I don't have an official, what you call recognition today, but I would like to inform the city and the board of our visit to the legislature. Went on all day and what we were trying to do and who we talked to. Will Purdy, Mark Bailey, he's president of the Pennsylvania Open Water Association. City engineer Greg Earhart, our two lobbyists, Brent Bailey and Congressman Greg Harper were there, as well as myself. And we talked to the committee chair of the Senate and the committee chair of the House budget boards. We talked to the Speaker of the House's office. We spoke with Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann about the issue. We were explaining to him again that our request for this legislative session was $10 million. I thought it was a very good day. As we talked to them, they all seemed to be receptive to the idea again, and they all seem to get it and understand particularly the economic opportunity that this project offers them. So I was real pleased with the day. Attorney Mayor-elect Purdy, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, it's that I agree. They're great meetings, got some positive feedback, and I think it's a really good development for the future of the project.
The second part of that meeting was, of course, to introduce Will to these individuals so that he can start working with them in the future. So all in all, a good day. Item 6, approval of consent agenda items A through L.
Mayor, I have to recuse myself from 6B, but I'll move to approve items A, C through L.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. That leaves item B, C. Or is it B?
B.
B.
Move to approve 6B.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, we have the department head report. Tara Lytle, our director of Main Street, will take us through this.
Yes.
Thank y'all for allowing me to talk today and indulge me in giving a report that we just recently presented to the state program. We were fortunate enough to get to host the Mississippi Main Street directors in Clinton the end of January. And so part of that was we got to show off and let them see a lot of the progress that's happened in our community since 2007. There are lots of new directors, and it's really encouraging for them to see how incrementally a program can change the downtown. So I'll go through some of the things y'all are very familiar with, and I'll try to go as quickly through those. But I think there's some things that it's really neat to see where we are now. So this is just an overview of our staff, which y'all should know, and that our program started in 2007. This was the title of our presentation. The Power of Main Street, and it's just look at our community journey. So this is basically where we are now, and this is not quite where we started, but close to where we started back in 2007. So we're going to talk a little bit about how how Main Street has really been a driving force to help revitalize the downtown. And that's due to you guys and your commitment to this program, and putting the resources in place to make sure it happened. This was, a lot of them are structured differently, so we kind of went over how we're structured. There's only a couple that are like us, kind of quasi-governmental. A lot of them are standalone, but because of our structure, we have been really poised for success. And it talks about the Main Street. We talked about the Main Street program and how the big focus is on what are your community assets. And so we include this picture of this little child on the bricks, because we really believe our brick streets are one of our shining, shining stars, one of the assets. One thing that we focus on too is when we started the program, we were at about 75% occupancy downtown, with a lot of that occupancy being, bail bondsmen and, that kind of thing, a lot of service businesses. And so in the almost 19 years, we've been able to turn that around, and we're at about 96% occupancy downtown. So that is a huge success, and we have a good retail restaurant mix. One of the first things that Main Street as a city helped us was they brought in and helped us do a planning in 2008, where we focused on those assets. And these are some of the slides from that early thread. And then y'all know Wyatt was on our first board of directors. Atlas here was helped start the program in 2007. And he's the one that helped us come up with our logo, and the national people they brought in helped us kind of fine tune that logo. And so those are just a few slides from that. One of our big focuses was to try and establish Main Street as Old Town as the heart of our community. And one thing to note, our program was a little different in that we didn't have a lot of vacant buildings that we actually had any control of. We had vacant buildings, but no control in those early years. And so we became, over the first 5 years of our program, pretty event heavy as compared to other programs. But that's something we can control. So this is the part y'all are real familiar with, a lot of the events we do. So I'm going to kind of go through these pretty fast, but these are things that really over the years, when we didn't have control over buildings, we could do these things to bring people downtown. And so, I mean, obviously, we're still doing these today, but these were things that really helped get the program in people's minds and get them accustomed to coming downtown and, wanting to see more businesses downtown. So, the support for the program is really great. And y'all know these are some of the great events that we do. I'm not even gonna go back because Bill will count that slide. I skipped one, Bill. Anyway. And then also our advocacy for getting Lions Park revitalized, and that was a year-long process as well. So this is really what our promotions committee focused on, and then we'll go in just a little bit. That's one of my little favorite quotes about how we shape a city and then the city takes us. But then we also focused on beautification through our design committee. That was a mural that White had done. These are several other of our contributions to the city, independent of like city funds. This is all funded through the nonprofit. That's our most recent mural that y'all should see or be aware of on Clinton Boulevard. The other thing that Main Street does is focus on economic development. Well, again, talking about that early years where we didn't have a lot that we could recruit. Well, we put together a really strong recruitment package, and we had that available, and we did have lots of efforts to recruit people, recruited cups to downtown, and then, sat there for a while with no place to put people. But we had these things in place. And then one of the victories that we really focused on with this meeting with Mississippi Main Street was with these buildings, the buildings 110 and 112, which y'all know. I'm gonna show you a few slides of what they looked like before. Y'all know, y'all lived it. But that was, again, part of the dedication of our mayor and the board in getting these, out of the hands of somebody who was letting them basically be demolished by neglect. We did go through the whole process with the other state directors, so they knew how this happened, and they had lots and lots of questions. Mayor Fisher talked about the lawsuits and how that went about, and was able to answer lots of questions about that. And so that's the after. Y'all again should know exactly what that property looks like and how it is such an asset down to our downtown now. And then a couple other economic development tools that we have is we focus on. We've got the business development grant and the facade grant. And that's a project that's been used on one of our more recent projects, was to redo the area where Coach's Creamery is now. And then, we just talked about our role here. We talked about 95, now we're at 96% occupancy rate in our downtown. transitioning into like some of our accomplishments. This was a slide they wanted me to include the different awards that Mississippi Main Street, that Main Street Clinton has won over the 19 years. So just encouraging for others to keep, stay the course. And then we focus on our future. A lot of those early efforts were focused in Old Town, and we had another play charrette in 2021, right after COVID. Maybe 2022. So I'm forgiving for that. I'm not sure exactly what year that was, but where we brought in and we focused a little more on connection strategies and how we can connect Clinton Boulevard to Old Town to Mississippi College. And so we're working off some of the things that came out of that, some of the ideas that came out of that, which is, y'all know we applied for 2 different grants, one through MDOT and one through Mississippi Main Street to work on sidewalks. And we found out about 2 weeks ago that we got the one from MDOT. So that's all part of what we've been advocating for. So anyway, that is what we presented to Mississippi Main Street a couple weeks ago. So I didn't do my typical report, but this is something we put together, and it's exciting to look at. People that spent almost 19 years, but it's incremental, but we are now at a point where we are, recruiting businesses and we are doing different things besides just the events. And then just a couple other things. Want to make sure y'all are aware. I should have included a slide. We've got Redbrick Roads coming up March the 27th through 29th with some great new partners. So y'all look at the website for that. And then we got Caterpillar Parade coming up April 12th, and along with our other movies and our. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Questions or comments?
A lot of my family live in Florence. We're not from Florence, but that's where they migrated. And they have come up, my brother with his grandchildren, to dinner and movie. And he really was just so impressed. And he said he wished Florence would have something like that for all the kids and families together. So it is impressive when you have people out of town to come.
Yeah, look at Allentown.
Yes.
Put
Yeah.
out there. Any
Okay.
questions or comments?
Yeah, we have no board discussions or reports, so we'll let Ms. Tara stay up here with her item 8. Discussion action appointment of April Tara to the Historic Preservation Commission and Architectural Review Board.
So I don't know if y'all know April or not, but she's married to Dean Figueroa. She sent me her resume on Friday, and I was off Friday, and it went to my junk folder. So I don't know that much. I started looking for it. So y'all should have gotten that, although it was late. So I hope y'all had an opportunity to read through what some of April's credentials. She is well qualified to be on these boards, because it's from 2 boards. Historic Preservation Commission and Architecture Review, although they are 2 separate boards. So anyway, I would like to nominate her to that board.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed, no? Motion. Before we go any further, as we not mentioned at the beginning, there will be a need for an executive session. Sorry about that. Item B, discussion action approved appointment of Vera Watson as a member of the City of Clinton Election Committee. Jimmy Volunteer, our city clerk, will bring us through this one.
Thank you, Mayor. If you'll remember last meeting, we appointed 2 other members to this board. This commission is made up of 5 members. Ms. Vera Watson will make our 5th and final member for the election commission. Is just one of the committees that we have to have in order to have them sign off and review and help us run the municipal election.
I would like to table this if we can until the next meeting. I don't know that I believe that we all are truly understand what the purpose of that committee or that commission is. I would just like for us to discuss that, what it does, what their purpose is, and who is on the board currently. I know we've just appointed 2, but I don't, I think we need to know more. I just want to know who's on the board and what the board does and all that before we take a vote on that. If everybody's agreeable.
So you have a motion to table.
Table.
We have a motion to table, and there's a second. All those in favor of the motion to table, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. If you add that to the next agenda, I will add that to the work session. Item D, discussion action approval IFC asking for approval to surplus a 2002 Ford 150 that has seen the end of life. This vehicle was tapping out from Park and Rec. It has been used by Main Street Visitor Center part-time employee. And Ms. Barham was unable to get here tonight, so, Jimmy will take us through this from last.
I did not write this one, but, reading with my writing, but, Ms. Marshall has asked that we term this vehicle and surplus it so we can remove it from our inventory. As she said, it's seen the end of life. It is probably passed that a couple years ago. But they've managed to ride it out as long as they could, and it's just at a point where we just need to salvage this thing.
I was gonna say, somebody that parked adjacent to it, they have wrung every bit of life out of that. They can't, it's pretty rough.
Okay,
Move to approve.
motion to approve, is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item D, discussion action approval for the Clinton Police Department to enter into a one-year contract with Insight LPR for the purpose of leasing 17 lanes of traffic for the quoted amount of $41,000. Our police chief Heyman will take us through this.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Board. This will be a renewal with, an additional lanes of traffic. And if you will, for the terminology, these LPR cameras are capturing lanes of traffic. I call them sight or a camera. They're, the techies doing this, they call them, we're capturing a lane of traffic. So when we started this program, our LPR footprint, we were going through a company, TCS Ware, Joe Payne, TCS Ware. We were purchasing sites. And then about 2 years ago, Insight and TCS Ware merged, and now it is fully Insight. TCS Ware is out, Joe Payne's out. Insight is the vendor now, and what they do is lease their lanes of traffic. And with your approval, and as we will eventually encompass our entire footprint under their plan, but right now we have 14 plus 3 new lanes. I'm asking for a contract with Insight of a year of lease. But eventually, as these cameras go down, get offline, we will then bring those under the footprint. So without getting into too much of it, we're asking for to renew 14 sites, cameras, and we're entering and we'll bring on 3 new lanes of traffic online. So and the quoted amount is $41,000. We will access our 911 wireless fund money. As of early January of this year, we had 123,000 and change in it. I have sent them a request for the scope of work and asked for the 41,000 to be approved and released into the city funds. With your approval tonight to enter into this one-year agreement with them, we're still going to hold off until I get a word from wireless that it's been approved before you. And if they deny us for some reason, they haven't in the past, if they did, they would come back. It should go according to the motion from the rule actions. It's actually
From a lot of folks. So, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item E, discussion action, approval for the Clinton Police Department to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Insight LPR LLC for the purpose of sharing, accessing LPR detection data and or hot list data in accordance of our ALPR technology. Chief,
That'll
a
be,
lot of others there.
that's technology from the state with Insight, and then they share it with us. Pretty simple, just a standard MOU for that, detective data.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Chief, I see in the news sometimes some of our surrounding communities talk about LPRs. Do all of our surrounding communities have those now or
Several of them do.
several of them do?
Not everybody, but, the bigger departments. And it's a wonderful thing, because, talking to Randy before the meeting, we have a suspect vehicle, and they're in Madison or Richmond, Jackson, Bluewood, something, we know.
I thought they would do data with them
And
too.
that's one of the things, and this is sharing the data. Yes, it's
Okay, item F, discussion action approval for the Clinton Police Department to accept as city property and sell a 2018 350 declared property of the city of Clinton by court order at public auction in accordance with Mississippi Code 1725. Chief?
back in mid 2022, our CID group got involved in an auto theft, there was a ring, an auto theft ring, if you will, and this vehicle, was stopped. It had an altered VIN. It is basically what's called a ghost vehicle. We can't determine, nobody can determine, not NCBI, anybody, the origin of this vehicle. So therefore, we don't have an owner. So by state statute, it went along for almost 2 years now, and we've got a court order that says this is the final disposition. This is now property of the Clinton Police Department. It's an 18 F-350. It's loaded out to Platinum Edition. It's got 46,000 miles. It's a big diesel. It's a dually. I expect it to bring really, really nice at auction. The only downside is it has to come with a salvage title. They're working through that. We should have gotten the title from DOR already, I think. And next step is, if y'all will allow us, we're going to send it to auction. That's just too big of a truck for us to use. And I think it's too nice of a vehicle to give it to Philip and let his guys tear it up. I think we can get some pretty fair money. Terry? There you go. It's truck.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, question, comment from the board? We have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item G, discussion action approval for the Clinton Police Department to enter into a 12-month contract with Metro Mechanical Building Services for 4 quarterly service appointments related to Clinton Police Department's HVAC systems for the quoted price of $3,568. Chief?
Last year, we had to call Metro out several times to get something going, look at the boiler, get one of the mini splits back working. So in the fall, they came out again. We had it was getting cold, had a boiler problem. They came, diagnosed it, fixed it. And, they said, hold off and we're gonna send you some out. What would y'all think about an annual maintenance where we come out here 4 times, we service everything that you have, and we'll just keep an eye on it for you. Hopefully we don't get to these problems. And then if we do, you get priority service, and then you get a little bit of a discount on parts and labor. Thought that might be a good idea. Since it is a contract, it does have to come to you. It doesn't quite meet the financial threshold, but in good service, we ask for Terry services because they do some work for us also. And Terry services gave us basically the same dollar amount on the same service, apples to apples service. I think they were maybe $100 less expensive, but Metro got to us first when nobody else could. The money's basically the same, and I'm just asking that we go ahead and put that under contract. Hopefully, they can get ahead of any problems we might have.
Move to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item H, discussion action approval to fix the roof of Station 3 on Northside Park and replacement of gutters. 2 quotes attached for consideration. Fire Chief Jeff Blatcher, talk to us about this one.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Thank y'all. we got two quotes on repairing the roof out at Station 3, which has been leaking for quite some time now. We tried patching it and everything, and to much avail, it's still leaking. So we got some qualified people to come out and look at it. And they have to change out all the screws, replace a bunch of trim, replace pipe boots, and all like that. The hardest thing for us was trying to get two quotes. But we did find another vendor that was willing to quote it, and they were actually a little over $1,000 cheaper than the first one. So what we're asking for is $20,300 to make these repairs to Station 3.
Questions, comment, or a motion?
So it doesn't, the whole roof does not need to be
It does
replaced,
not have
but
to
we can
be replaced totally,
totally, yeah.
but they need to replace all the screws, and those screws on metal roofs have rubber washers on them. Those things deteriorate all the time
Right,
and everything, so.
okay. Ready to approve if someone did.
I was just gonna ask Jimmy, would this budgeted and where's this coming from?
This was budgeted as one of those projects we were gonna fund from the, bond proceeds.
And is this under what we budgeted?
Yes, this was, we had 20,000, I believe. was the
Okay.
number for that.
Thanks. Okay, I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you.
Item I, discussion action approving $27,191 to WGK for design phase services in determining the needs of reconstructing soccer fields 10 and 11 at Traceway Park. Ms. Nunn, our Director of Parks and Rec, will take us through this one.
Good evening. So you've heard me mention before about getting a field evaluation at Traceway. We had I would say an expert come in and just go through all of our fields and kind of see what the biggest needs were. And we felt like, which we already knew, we're just afraid to hear and say it. But soccer 10 and 11 will probably need a complete rebuild. And that is beyond my pay grade. I don't know, much about that. So we call on the professionals for help with that. So WGK would be helping us put together a spec plan, see what's needed for soccer 10 and 11 to kind of get it leveled down a little bit more with a good slope for good drainage. Just, as old as the fields are, now is a time when we're fighting all the, failing infrastructure. So it's like, it's a lot, but, if he can get us a plan and we can kind of move in the right direction, then we'll know kind of what we're looking at as far as putting it out for bid in the future and having the funds for that. We won't know until we do this.
And my question would be the same as that 27. We talked about that, I think, during the budgeting hearing. Did we include that?
Yeah, I would like to include it in our 1%, the park maintenance.
Okay.
Because, we had a little cushion from the last budget year, because we don't have to resurface tennis courts again. So that takes a big chunk out of it.
So it's just the restructuring, reconstruction, examination and the building of the specs. This isn't the building.
Right, this is the design phase to see what's needed, and then they're able to put the documents together.
Is this going to have is our lighting project going to have any effect with it when it does finally get to the
Before
reconstruction?
we can do this, the lights will be done. Because I would recommend, once we're able to get a plan, at this point, not knowing how much it's gonna cost, I would say we get through the mag cup. That would be the biggest, that would be the biggest that we need to get through to allow those two fields to have some rest.
Just don't let it rain.
I'm going to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Courtney, I'm trying to remember the field numbers. Remind me which ones are 10 and 11.
So 10 is directly behind my office. That's where we have the stage and everything for July 4th. And then to the left where all the inflatables are, that's soccer 11.
Thinking that was right, but I was just trying to.
They're pretty much doing hill sprints at this point during soccer game.
We appreciate you staying on top of that. I know that's something
Yeah.
that a lot of the people involved and out there have been concerned about. So we're glad we're moving forward with a solution.
Item J, discussion action approval to accept a donation in the amount of $57,000 from Path Company to be put towards the new baseball scoreboards at Traceway Park. Ms. Nunn?
And so, I like to keep the exciting things at the end. So, this is something I've been trying to work on for a little while now. We've got new lights coming in. We've got some new restrooms happening at Traceway, still a lot more work to do. But one of the big, things on the checklist was to get some upgrades to the baseball school boards. I still have a few, school boards to look for some funding, but they look a lot better than, most, but we'll get there eventually. But these will get us baseball 7 through 14. And then we'll come to the front and get softball 5 and 6. Look at a future school board for multi-purpose 12, as well as some of the mini pitch school boards. So we're looking for, some small ones to go on those. So, but for now, you can kind of see the picture on the left is one of the school boards that are on the Traceway. On the right, that'll be the smaller version. And then the bigger versions of the school boards will be on field 10 and 13. And field 10, if you've ever been out to baseball 10, if you're sitting in the third base stands, the school board is right in your face. Don't understand. But it will be moved to left field.
This is a donation.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Company. Can you tell us about that company?
Yes, so Pack and Sue we've been working with for the lighting projects around Clinton. So this will actually be a donation directly from PATH, but Musco is kind of teaming up with them on this donation. So the school boards, the 6 of the 7 school boards will be donated by Musco as well as PATH. And then the other school board, as you know, was the Junior Civic League at Clinton. It was from last year's gala. So they'll have their name on a school board, and then we'll have Musco and PATH on the other. And then we'll look for the rest of the school board funding. But they'll be exciting. So we're looking at probably, if I'm able to kind of get this rolling, it'll probably be April, May before they can get the school boards in and then get them installed.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Quick question for you, Courtney. On these school boards, it look like they run about $7,300 a piece. How much does
A
the
little bit more if you add the installation and all that.
Yeah.
I would say anywhere from 9 to 10, depends on the size.
what about the smaller mini pitch school boards? What would they run?
Well, I don't actually have a good estimate for you because when I reached out to the company that we typically work with, they had not done any mini pitches that size. And so it was going to be something new for them. So I'll be reaching out, I'll stay in contact with them, but be reaching out to several other school board companies.
Perhaps some of the people who are very interested in the fields, and the condition and those sorts of things, can talk their companies into, buying a school board and
Absolutely.
having the advertisement thing.
Come sing.
And reaching to. Look.
Thank
Okay,
you, guys.
thank
Hold
you.
on, Courtney, real quick, can you tell us, I believe you recently got back from a convention that had some awards. Can you brag on some of the awards that you were?
Yes, so specifically, I wouldn't be able to give them verbatim, but so we were able to, for Clinton, a total of, I believe, 4 awards and 1 individual, which was Liz Winder as the Therapeutic Recreation Professional of the Year. Chandra and her department got 3 awards, I believe. And then we had a combo award for both of our departments when we tag teamed on Neon. And so we were excited about that one. So, which it was a fun event, and I hope to do some more of that in the future. And then we've always been a supporter of MRPA, and so I was sworn in as the president of MRPA this year, and then Chandra was sworn in as the past president, so she's going to be serving in that role. So we're both going to be tackling this year's MRPA conference and just making some big changes for the state. Trying to get more support for Parks and Rec departments. I heard just to share, I heard a quote while I was there. Somebody was talking about how important Parks and Recreation was, and they were saying that fire, police, and public works are usually the meat and potatoes. And they said usually Parks and Recreation is the dessert, but that they feel like Parks and Recreation should be more of like the vegetable. It's necessary, it's needed, And it's so important for people to know that we're more than just a fund. We're quality of life. So,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Okay, item K, discussion action approval for the mayor to request activation for the recently awarded federal transportation alternative project to construct a sidewalk along a portion of College Street. Additionally, authorize the mayor to execute all documents associated with the proposed project improvements. Mr. Owens, our consulting engineer, will take us through this one.
Yes, but this was, if you'll recall, we submitted, an application, to MDOT. It really wasn't through CMPD. If you recall, Commissioner Simmons last year awarded, a TAP project to finish the lighting on Era Drive. And so this is this year's funding that will construct the sidewalk basically from the easternmost drive of Mississippi College, to, Mount Salus, right there at Mount Salus where the car is at leading into Clinton Boulevard. So this will put it on the south side. That's the, connects to that sidewalk at Mississippi College and will go on the south side of Clinton Boulevard.
Comments, questions?
We move approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item M, discussion action approval of resolution concerning the construction, engineering, and inspection, CE and I contract for the number listed there, overlay of Spring Ridge Road and Clinton Boulevard. Mr. Owens?
We skipped over L, but I'll go ahead and.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
M. This is to kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit. This is related to, item N below as well. We finished the, what they call the plan specification and estimates for the overlay project that will overlay Spring Ridge Road and Clinton Boulevard. That's gone to MDOT. I hope, that will be approved at next week's commission meeting. That will allow us to advertise and allow the city to sign the construction engineering and inspection contract to inspect that once it goes to bid. So that's what this is. It's just a resolution like we always do with projects like that, that will be included in the CE&I contract once it's finally approved.
And then the N is to approve the advertising.
And will approve the advertisement, yes.
I move to approve M and N.
Okay, we have a motion. Is that a second?
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Back up to item L.
And I mentioned one thing on N. I just wanted to, Tara, I think had shown a picture of what the latest charrette, if you will, had talked about. And we can't do the sidewalks along Clinton Boulevard, but what, if you'll recall, we did the traffic study that allows us to remove that middle lane. So Clinton Boulevard will be 2-lane, but there'll be a bike, basically what amounts to a bike path on either side all the way down to Morrison Drive. So I think that leads to what has been being talked about. The sidewalk issue is a much more complicated thing in terms of utilities and things of that nature. But I just wanted to remind everybody that that project will pave the entire width, but it will be 2 lanes going down through there.
Okay. Back up to item L, discussion, action, consideration, and approval of the professional services agreement with SGK for the preliminary engineering services required for the recently awarded federal transportation alternative project to construct a sidewalk along a portion of College Street.
Yes, sir. This typically we are already contributing the 20% to the construction and the CE&I. They like to see some buy-in by the city other than that. So as with most of these projects, the design fees are not covered under that grant. So this will allow us, if you approve tonight, to proceed with the design.
Questions, comments, or motion? The motion approved. All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Employment items. We have 2 of those, both of them. Hire one a deputy clerk for services and second to hire a concrete superintendent contingent upon the NBA drug testing. So we have a motion to approve both of those.
Move approved.
Okay, a second? A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I
After we,
noticed, excuse me, I noticed in our, information given that with the concrete supervisor, it was listed as 52,000. I was just wondering, I had not seen that before. The yearly salary, was that, different as why it was listed or?
I believe it's just a replacement of someone that left.
Okay, okay. I just thought that was kind of different. I didn't see it
The
for,
the way it was presented may have been sent different because
Yeah.
each department kind of does their own format on these
Mhm.
submittals. We're working on getting some standardization on that, but
okay.
it may have just been the way he presented it.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd seen it. So I was just wondering, was that a different than what we had approved in that position?
I